briefly about a couple of key issues that I know are of importance to you. Gun rights and safety. So, I made the same remarks not too long ago that according to the Liberal government, you are the problem. All of you are the problem because they speak to a very small but powerful and significant base in downtown Toronto, downtown Montreal, downtown Lower Mainland BC, who feel that no one, under any circumstances, unless you're military, unless you're police, ought to own a firearm. Well, we know that's crap. We know that we've got a problem with criminality. We have seen a sharp increase in crimes every single year since Justin Trudeau introduced his hug a thug mentality when it came to policy. So you are not the problem. You've never been the problem. You've taken the courses. You're licensed. You're responsible. You are not creating the crime, chaos, and disorder that communities are facing from coast to coast to coast. We all know what the problem is, right? It's the smuggling of illegal handguns. And I think I told you this as an example. When you go to decide to rob a mom and pop variety store, you don't bring in a long shotgun and say, oh, by the way, I'm robbing you. All right? You want to conceal something small in your pocket. And that is the problem. And has been the problem for the last 10 years. And this damn government hasn't done anything to address it. We haven't reinforced our borders. We have not bought the necessary technology. The sad reality is, it's not just the smuggling across the borders, because criminals are very savvy. They're generally 1 or 2 steps ahead of law enforcement. They're using drones now. They're using Canada Post. They're using courier companies to smuggle drugs and to smuggle guns and ammunition across our borders. And if that's not bad enough, we've got Mexican cartels now who have viewed Canada as a safe haven to do business. So they're loading up shipping containers and shipping that up to the West Coast, landing at the port of Vancouver, which I toured about 3-4 weeks ago. Sadly, one of the busiest ports in North America, but sadly, 1% of all containers are inspected. 1%. So that's how you're getting your drugs, that's how you're getting your guns, that's how you're getting your other contraband, particularly from China and now Mexico, flowing into our country. Okay? So we all know what the problem is, but what's the solution? Okay? The Liberals, under our so-called freshly minted Prime Minister, who prouds around as if he's a duly elected Prime Minister by the Canadian people. We all know that's crap. 100,000 people, Liberals, chose that leader to be our Prime Minister. Prime Minister in name only. Prime Minister not through leadership. But he made an announcement yesterday with respect to crime. Because crime is a big passion of mine in terms of my background as a Crown attorney. It's a real passion of our Conservative Party. And you know what he said? We need to enhance the gun buyback program. Pump in another $600 million to a useless program that confiscates antique firearms, other firearms that are not used in the commission of criminal offenses. And the biggest drain on the Canadian taxpayer that ever was. Close to $1 billion already spent to literally confiscate under 50 guns. Okay? He wants to enhance that. And then brilliantly, because he's got no legal background, despite the fact that he's got a new Justice Minister and the Attorney General, and he's got a Justice Department that probably has, up to 1,000 staff members, all lawyers, presumably the best legal minds in this country, he decided to make a big announcement. that moving forward, if he's elected, anyone convicted of intimate partner violence, so domestic violence, and anyone convicted of a serious offense is going to get a lifetime weapons prohibition. How about that? The sad reality is we've had weapon prohibitions for decades. That's how clueless this freshly minted prime minister is and his collection of idiots. Okay? A lawyer freshly sworn in by the Law Society of Ontario or any law society in this country takes criminal law in law school. And you learn about weapon prohibitions in law school. And we've had it for decades. But that's the big announcement by the Liberal Party. Okay? So we're not going to buy that. And I publicly issued a statement reminding Canadians, okay, that this has been in place. This is nothing new. But this is what we're dealing with, folks. Okay? And there are probably supporters and there are probably people sitting on the fence that don't know that we have weapon prohibitions. They don't know what the real problem is. So we have a duty to educate. And that's what I'm doing, and I know that's what Dan is doing every single day when we pound the pavement, we're making connections at the door, and we are educating people. Because we can't rely upon mainstream media to do that. We can't rely upon television. We can't rely upon newspapers. With the exception of the Toronto Sun. They do call out the government, right? Yeah. Okay, and we've got some phenomenal podcasters out there. Anyone watch Northern Perspective? Yeah. Awesome, right? They speak the truth. And that's what we got to do. We have to deliver that truth every single day to reach those undecideds, to reach those solid, and I get this, I don't know if Dan does, I get people still at the door saying, look, I voted Conservative for the last 30, 40 years. I don't know how I'm going to vote now. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Where's there a dilemma here? Okay, because they're being sucked in by mainstream media to take a look again at the Liberal government. Okay, this new leader, this new Prime Minister, is nothing more than a new head on a snake. It's still a snake. It's still, like, in my view, putting lipstick on a pig. It still stinks. The government still stinks. The ministers are still in place. The members are still in place. The machinery is still in place. Gerald Butts, who basically directed all of Justin Trudeau's successes, is right in behind Mark Carney. The entire machinery working on his behalf. He is not a change candidate.